One sec, I'm gonna grab my notebook real quick. Okay. Hold on. So there's things I want to discuss in this video, pertaining to my thoughts on my recent relationship that I just got out of. This is more of just like a video acknowledging my just what I deal with in the aftermath of what's been going on in my life, in my daily life since I've been single. But really what this entire video is going to be about is just limerence. And I mean, I'm just going to paraphrase the definition. I don't remember the exact definition, but it has limerence means, it's past the point of it being love anymore. It's more of an obsession, or just something this unconditional feeling. I don't know if it's unconditional love per se, but it's just a lingering daily obsession, or just it's your mind is so fixated on this person, and there can be a number of reasons for why you might experience limerence after a breakup. But I don't want to go too much off of what I haven't written. I would prefer to just go with what I already have written, because it's easier that way. But I'm just gonna dive in. So it's my duty to walk away from a love that no longer exists. I'm aware enough to know there is nothing left to linger except limerence. This is what I know I suffer from, a loophole the mind traps itself in due to an unhealthy attachment. This craving of a fantasy centering around obsession, loving a person that no longer wants you. And to clarify, I'm the one that broke up with my ex, but I'm still I still experience this limerence feeling. I have a lot of guilt for leaving as well, but that's a different conversation. But it plays into, I think, why I have limerence or whatever. But this person brought these intense feelings out of me because they gave me something I never got from my parents at a young age, being unconditional love, which it changed as I got older from my parents, but I didn't get that a lot at a young age. And also I'm gonna say this video, it could be for people that can relate, or just people that want to hear what I have to say, I guess. I think I'm gonna do a series of videos over time. I might just start uploading more on my YouTube, but we'll see. Instead, I happened to find a partner as a young adult that gave me that unconditional love, and that's where the downfall began in the first place. Now in the aftermath of me experiencing a normal / healthy process called grief, obviously I'm gonna grieve this breakup, the relationship that I dealt with for years. I don't think dealt with is the right word. Just the relationship that I was a part of. It was a commitment that I made for years, and at this point, this process just feels like dragged on. No escape but to deal with myself every day. I love myself, and I know now I deserve a better love at this point. I left this person because of numerous thoughts and worries, because of my self-doubt. And I have a dismissive avoidant attachment style, which I was unable to work through during the relationship. There's both sides to a relationship, but I can definitely say a lot of my unresolved trauma and just overall anxiety towards the world really made me fumble that relationship. I can definitely say that if I was able to accomplish more within myself through that relationship, then that relationship would probably still be going on. But I'm going to continue. It feels as though the only way I can actually heal and work through my attachment style is if I stay in a relationship. And it's something I always think about, because my ex would tell me that. She would point out pretty, I wouldn't say frequently, but whenever she could be aware of the situation and try to make me aware of what was going on, she would point that out. Because at the end of the day, how can you heal from your attachment style if you're not trying to deal with it in the relationship? Because attachment styles really only come out in a relationship. So it's the only place you can work through it with your partner. Where was I? But I'm not ready for a relationship. That's the thing. That's what I feel. That's what I tell myself, at least. Perhaps that's not true. I know that this limerence feeling is a distraction from allowing me to let more love in my life. I have this defense mechanism at this point because I'm too scared to love. Only fixated on this person that no longer exists. And what I mean by that is she is a different person at this point. So it's and the person in my head is the person I met in the beginning. We did change. We literally grew up together over the years. So it's we were kids, and then we got into our young adult years, because we were 18, 17. And there's just there's so much that happened, and it caused us to change, whether we wanted it or not, for the better and for the worst. And this person, this obsession I have over this person, the person doesn't even exist anymore. It's this everlasting thought of someone that I crave still, someone that I want so much still in my life, but they don't even exist anymore. She's not that person anymore. I'm not even the person that she met anymore. And I'm only saying these things because I got to keep it real with myself. It's not. It's a fantasy, as I said in here, but I'm gonna keep going. Only fixated on this person who also doesn't want me anymore, because the current person doesn't want me anymore. I mean, why would you want someone that broke up with you anyways? But, and I must clarify and say, this person tried their best with what they had and knew. They no longer want me anymore because I chose by showing them that I didn't want them anymore through my actions over time. Like, yeah, my last act of showing them I didn't want them anymore was the initial breakup of, fleeting. And through the relationship, a lot of my actions showed them a lot of acts of pain. I feel like I showed a lot of acts of pain, and not nearly as much of like acts of love, because of my internal trauma, because of just being overwhelmed and anxious and worried about so many things in life. And I let that take over, like, just how I went about with the relationship. And self-sabotaging is a huge problem I also have in relationships. Which this time I've had being alone, I've been able to not self-sabotage nearly as much, and I'm more aware now. But I'm only so aware because I'm like, every day I'm reflecting so much, and I'm living and dealing with my problems because I'm not relying on that person anymore. And it's not easy. It's extremely hard. Yeah, it's honestly fucking sucks, dude. But this is something I needed to do like years ago, before I even got in the relationship. Like, and I always told her that I was never ready for this, because I wasn't. And that's my fault for getting a committed relationship with someone that I wanted to give my all to. I wanted to give so much to, but I couldn't. I gave what I had at the time, and I gave with what I knew. And my intentions, for the most part, were always for the best, but I had greater evils within myself that would take over, or would just sabotage the relationship, sabotage myself. Yeah, so I must clarify, blah, 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 no longer want me anymore because I chose to show them I didn't want them through my actions over time. The consequence of this ordeal is the lingering obsession in itself. Limerence. I'm grieving a fantasy, not a person. I'm completely capable of discovering a feeling that overpowers this obsession, which I do know that. And this temporary obsession that I'll be able to move on from. Sorry, I worded that weird. But I was just saying, like, I'm capable of discovering a feeling that overpowers the obsession, and the obsession is only temporary, that I'll be able to move on from. That's how I should have read it. But I know now in my heart and soul that the universe is so abundant. I've already known that. I only say I know now because in the current moment when I was writing this, that's how I felt. But the universe has always been abundant. I've always known that. And same thing with love. Love is infinite. Darkness can only linger if you let it. Anything can be infinite. It's all a choice at the end of the day. Because darkness can be overpowering, but that's if you let it overpower you and your life and whoever, And love is infinite, though, truly. And love is like, in its most pure form, it's meant to help you. Love is a tool, in my opinion. But I'm gonna keep going. Where was I? Oh yeah, I understand that love is infinite. My focus right now isn't to find someone. It truly isn't. I just want my entire being to know that there is another person that is better than my previous love. And all love is different. Therefore, it cannot be replaced with a copy, but knowing that there is always diversity in a world that doesn't stop growing should be more than enough. I attract what I choose to surround myself with and what I put out, that being my own exertion of energy. Falling in love isn't exactly what real love is. Real love is an act of will. It's calm, grounded, mutual, mature, insightful. So many dynamics to touch when it comes to what real love is. And as a dismissive avoidant, with being a dismissive avoidant, most of the time, if you're not healed at all through your attachment style, this is based on like research that I've done, and being aware over time. But if you haven't healed through anything, if you haven't grown through your attachment style, then you can't handle emotional instability in a relationship, period. That being, like, if your partner has a lot of highs and lows or has their own problems, the other person can't be expected to be emotionally available. That's just the truth, because they're not healed. I'm not healed from my attachment style. So, it's going to make sense why things aren't going to work out, but that's on me because I didn't put the work in to work on myself. There's something else I wanted to say. But I can't remember, but ultimately, I don't remember the, like, main attachment style is. Oh, I remember what I was going to say now. My bad. Being a dismissive avoidant, you can only handle a relationship that's peaceful and perfect all the time. So it's like nearly impossible, because no one can always create a peaceful space. There's things from the outside that can alter daily life, and it's to be expected that things will happen. You don't know when, you can't anticipate anything, but it's which I don't want to say it's impossible to have peace 100% of the time, but it's not likely. And that's the problem with me, is like, I'm already handling myself as just my own problems, and when you add another to the equation, it's just gonna stir up a lot of more problems. It's just gonna create a flood of problems, for me at least, because again, I didn't work through myself thoroughly. I didn't heal through my attachment style, and I genuinely think that's a big reason why the relationship didn't really work out, because I just I didn't take it as serious, I guess. I don't know. I want to say I did, but I didn't, because I didn't put the effort to think hard enough of taking care of my own person. And now that I lost, because it had to get to a point where I had to lose this person to actually grow. And that's the sad part, is like, it shouldn't have gone that way. And yeah, as more time passes, like, I was never ready for that relationship, in the sense of being a stable and just a stable man with a lot to offer in a positive way. I had a lot of things to offer. I had things that were insightful, but not nearly as insightful that my ex brought into my life, because a lot of the things that she had taught me really helped me and brought me to who I am now. And I really like to give her credit for a lot of things because she is the only person in my life that actually was able to do that for me. Like my mom, I literally couldn't go to my mom for these things because she, just not everyone has like a mental capacity to illustrate the lessons of life, if you get what I mean. And I don't know, my ex had like this just older soul in the sense of wisdom and knowledge. She caught on really early at a young age, and I envy that because she will always be 2 or 3 steps ahead of me. But I would like to get back to this. I just explaining my thoughts on the situation at hand, but wait, where was I? I'm trying to find diversity, yada yada. I attract what I choose to surround myself with. Real love is an act of will. Yep. So many dynamics to touch when it comes to what real love is. Yeah. To me, like, Eastern philosophies make the most sense in regards to like love. And like what I mean by Eastern philosophies is like Hinduism, Buddhism. And these religions preach what I feel deeply aligned with when it comes to love. Human love is a reflection of the soul's longing for union with the ultimate reality. Real love is selfless, non-possessive, and liberating. If we're able to understand that, we can see how love is also letting go and forgiving when it's ran its course. Love is infinite, so it never disappears. That's true. It goes back to the choices you make with love, because you can either choose to love people, whether it's in a relationship or friendships or just like common interactions with people. Like you choose either love or you choose your thoughts over the matter, in the sense of like, okay, if you come across someone that doesn't act accordingly how you think they would in a situation, you're automatically thinking of like the wrong in the situation. You're automatically thinking of, oh, like they looked at me weird, they I don't know, like what's a good example? Like, say you see someone, you work at a coffee shop or something, and you have this person that buys the same thing every day, and they come with a smile, you greet them, they reciprocate back the same energy, and like one day they come in and they're not like in the best mood and they kind of have like an attitude. You're automatically going to start thinking, if you're not like super aware of what's going on, or if you're not like being compassionate about the situation, if you're just automatically thinking of the worst, you're just thinking of what they're thinking about you, and you're automatically assuming that they're judging you. And that's not like thinking with love. That's just thinking with anxiety and worry. It's thinking with like problems in your head. It's just noise. If you're thinking with love, it's just compassion always, and forgiveness. And like, obviously you're not always going to have that. It's, some situations it's extremely hard to be forgiving. And at the end of the day, you can only do your best, but like, it doesn't hurt to try to be the best you can every day. Yeah. So coming to terms with myself can be difficult at times. I'm aware enough to identify my issues. I can grasp my reality, but I still have to pick myself up time and time again. Always so many highs and lows. I want to briefly mention, after listening to a video about limerence, the speaker, the narrator, made a pretty valid point. She said, when you and another person decided you're in love, it's a decision. It's a mutual agreement that both of you choose to stay there. And with limerence, you have the feeling of love, but not the action. The other person does not have the feeling or the action. It's, yeah, I'm just going to continue. It is a single-sided interaction. And it's not that you're actually in love with them or feeling in love with them. You're in love with the idea that someone could love you so hard that maybe you could love yourself. That maybe they could give you evidence that you can finally stop hating all the pieces of you that you don't know how to love. Stop hating all the pieces of you that you do not know how to love. Yeah. And I thought about that pretty hard. I feel I do love myself. I chose myself over the relationship, but out of fear of commitment. Also because I wanted more to face alone as well. Only then I could actually be ready for a serious relationship. And I can admit that that decision was selfish in me regardless, because I was already in a relationship. And I can say back then, because also being a dismissive avoidant, you never feel enough of yourself. You never feel just capable of the relationship. It's fear of intimacy. It's just fear of commitment. And I remember when I was in a relationship, I always just thought I thought of what I wanted for myself, because I wanted to be a better man for my ex. I wanted to be a better person for her. But that was ultimately my downfall in the situation, because I wasn't present most of the time. I was always thinking of what eventually I could be. And I wasn't actively fixing myself to get there. And I also chose the easy way out of the situation pertaining to my path currently, which I'm not going to discuss. But I was just selfish, man. I was just selfish out of the situation. And overall, I chose myself. I didn't choose her. I don't want to say I regret it, but it is something I have to live with every day, because I made a life-changing decision that honestly I could have gone about in so many ways that could have saved the relationship. I could have figured so many other things out, but instead, out of the situation, I chose the most drastic and most painful. And another thing with me is I always have to learn the hard way. And I'm so tired of that. I'm so tired of, it's draining. I'm so tired of learning the hard way. That's been my entire life. I feel like when I was younger, my life was constantly hard. These days, it's not nearly as hard as it used to be. But the difficulty I deal with now is more so a mental like anguish that I have. And it's just, it's a daily thing, and it's something I'm working through. But I'm working on myself because I love myself and I want the best for myself. Whenever another person that I will allow into my life comes into my life, I believe I'll be ready for them. And by then, I'll be more mature still. Like, I'm like, there's still things I need to learn. I'm only like, I don't know, it's weird. I'm 22, but I feel really young still. And it's like, I need more time to grow. How much more of this I got? Okay, we gotta get through this. Feel I do love myself. I chose myself over the relationship out of fear of commitment, but also because I wanted more to face alone. Only then I could actually be ready for a serious relationship. My decision was extremely selfish. I can only think or hope that the sacrifices we made, as in her and I, were for the better for our futures. That the decision I landed on was truly the universe saving us from ourselves? Or was it me saving me from myself? Or was it just willful negligence and there's not true reason for my fleeting moment? We're meant to be seen in our entirety by a person and be chosen anyway. Those are the people we're supposed to find. And the kicker about this is no one's supposed to do that for you. You have to do that for yourself. I need to do that for myself. The fact that I'm able to love this person as deeply as I do is only proof that I can feel the same for myself. I'm fully equipped to love myself. My self-acceptance will relinquish my limerence. You can't romanticize starvation. This ongoing mystery, if this person will remain in your life or come back in the future, is only confusion, a distraction from the present. I must remind myself that this love is no longer real. Awareness of the fantasy. When I'm fine for a while, then I have a dream of this person. It's like I restart, but I got to be aware and remind myself that it's all a misunderstanding. You know, sometimes I don't want to say it's the universe playing tricks on you, but it low-key kind of is. It's like everything, like I could not be thinking about this person. Well, I think about this person often, but the thoughts don't bother me. But then I see them in a dream, and you can't control a dream unless it's like a lucid dream, but you can't control the dream, and it just brings out these intense emotions whenever you have to confront this person, because a lot of the dreams are negative. A lot of the dreams are just random, but it's the fact that I'm seeing this person in my dream, and then I gotta wake up and I'm like, gosh, dude, I gotta start my day, but I'm just sitting there like staring at the ceiling, and I feel empty, and I feel how I did right after the breakup. The only difference is it doesn't, like, the feeling doesn't stick around very long, because I gotta get my day started and I gotta do things, but it's like I'm reminded, and I'm aware now, like, if I'm gonna be reminded every now and then, like, I gotta know that this is this constant cycle, this loop, limerence, this feeling. It's no longer love. I don't know. I always say, like, I'm gonna love this person for I wouldn't say, I've said forever, but I've told myself, like, I'm never gonna stop loving this person, but we never stop loving anyone. So it's like, because all love is different, and if you truly love somebody, that love and care is always going to be there at the end of the day. It's just like, this is something I have to move on from. It's a chapter of my life that's closed already, and this limerence is just a lingering feeling at this point. Hold on. I'm very hungry. Yeah, I gotta remind myself that it's all a misunderstanding. Love isn't earned through suffering. Just because in the beginning we say we are in agreement to be with each other for life doesn't mean physically we'll always be there. The encounter itself already established that our souls are intertwined, period. Even after everything, it's the imprint, the change this person made on your life that forced the change forever. Take it as you will and move on with the knowledge and memories you carry. You must also acknowledge that this person you still think you're in love with, they're just like a character you wrote to solve a story that you started long ago before they entered your life. Therefore, before you manifest this person you so deeply need in your life, solve yourself first. You know, if you know for a fact like you got mental issues or you just have a lot of baggage or trauma, like you have to try your best to just heal before you just jump into a relationship with someone, because honestly, you could really ruin someone's life that way. I don't want to say I ruined my ex's life, but, and I mean, I don't know how she feels about any of that, but like, I definitely changed her life. Whether some things were for the better and some things were for the worse, like, I really affected her. And I know at this point, like, our relationship affects her just as much as it affects me. Like, I'm sure, like, her daily life has some sort of, like, precaution to it, or, like, just things she has to deal with herself because of the relationship that she went through. And it's not fair to someone knowing, if you knowingly have unresolved issues, and if you have unresolved issues and you're just like jumping into something because you want it. The things you want can wait. The things you need will come to you. And the things you can do for yourself are now. It's like you gotta, and it took me a long time to realize, like, being present is being present with yourself, and you have to take yourself on in every situation. You gotta help yourself before you just end up with somebody. It's the only way you can manage this powerful feeling in the coming future. I'm referring to, like, manifesting a person that you so deeply need in your life. When you meet the next divine, let the open wound become a scar. I never needed her to love me. I just needed to come back to myself. And what I mean by that is, like, you don't need someone's love to feel whole. Love is good. Having someone's love is an addition to your life. It's not like, it's a good analogy. It's a good addition, but it's not like, it's not a detriment. It's not something that is now bound to you. It's not something that is like you should be commanding, because you can't command love. You can't force it. It's a privilege. And not everyone gets that privilege. It's like, if you get love in your life by anybody, you can't take it with a grain of salt. Like, that's someone that's dedicating part of their soul to you in the sense of intention and compassion and like willful goodness, you know? I don't know if that's like a good phrase to use, but just being loved and giving love is so important, and it's nothing to just like play around with. And I've learned that over time. This video is way longer than I thought it'd be, but yeah, I wanted to touch base with limerence because it's something I experience in my daily life. And I think the negative emotions I feel at this point in my life pertain to like childhood trauma and relationship trauma. But I've healed a lot from my childhood, I would say. But there's still a lot of unresolved stuff, because if I'm ever going to be in a relationship again, I have to prepare myself and know that like the overwhelming feeling of having another person in my vicinity, having another person I have to like think about, another person I have to, love, someone that I want to be committed with. Like it's really something that me or whoever's watching, if you want to apply this to your life, it's something that you have to actively think about pertaining to your attachment styles. Because I mean, you could be like I forget the other attachment styles. You could be like a normal avoidant or a dang, I can't think of it right now. But look up attachment styles. You'll know what I'm talking about. There's a list of them. But these attachment styles, they can really affect your relationships. And it's just, you gotta really know what you're getting yourself into if you're gonna get into a committed relationship. And I mean, you have to know also this person. Like, you gotta really try to get to know this person. Obviously, if you're getting in a relationship, that's like the most basic thing. You're wanting to getting to know this person. But what I mean by that is like, you need to know the red flags. You need to know like if they have trauma, if they have like their own issues, because everything, it's gonna bounce back and forth. So it's like, if you both have things you need to heal from, it's not gonna be easy. And yeah, it's just like, the most important thing I want to get across in this video is, you cannot rely on another person to solve your issues, especially if you're aware of your own issues. Like, if you're not aware, okay, you can't do anything about it. You don't even know in the first place. But the minute you know there's things that you need to solve within yourself, that's no one's responsibility but yourself. And honestly, you could say like if you're aware and they're taking the burden, I could say, of your problems, and you don't think you're selfish, you're wrong. you're definitely selfish because you're not caring enough to work on yourself to help the relationship. So just be mindful of you and others, and just be a good person. Try your best. But yeah, I'm gonna end the video now. Hope everyone is having an amazing time just living and trying their best to not feel drained all the time. You know, people that are trying to fix themselves, or people that are already doing pretty good mentally. I'm happy for y'all. Yeah, just shout out to anyone watching this video, and see you next time.